The synthesizer began the day carrying the heavy cloak of the work week, a familiar weight made heavier still by the lingering ghost of carbohydrates. A deep exhaustion settled in his bones, a signal that the long marathon of consultations had drawn his reserves down to the very dregs. In this familiar state of depletion, the world can narrow to a single point of survival, where grand plans and far-off studios fade into impossibility. And so, a need arose, not for more action, but for a different kind of wisdom. The easy path, the one of grim duty, whispered of trips he should take and chores he should do. But another voice, quieter and more attuned to the body's truth, spoke of a strategic retreat. He listened. The journey to his creative sanctum in Jarre was postponed. The car would remain unwashed. This was not surrender. It was a commander's call to conserve his forces, to live to fight another day with strength rather than marching into the night already defeated. This search for restoration led him down smaller, more intricate paths. He found himself at his trusted mechanic's garage, a man who shared a love for the same 20-year-old Mercedes, a vessel of shared experience. In his hands, the synthesizer held small tokens, almost trivial in cost, but immense in meaning. A little plastic guard to stop a phone from vanishing into the car's abyss, a replacement holder for a fuel cap, an antidote to a known and recurring frustration. He gave them to the old mechanic, and in his eyes he saw it, a glimmer of pure, unadulterated appreciation. It was a feeling of being truly seen, a small act of kindness that rippled outwards, returning to the synthesizer as a quiet, affirming joy. He had found something profound, that the greatest value often lies not in what something costs, but in how perfectly it solves another's hidden problem. He brought this delicate understanding home. For too long, conversations had been like signals lost in the void, thoughts spoken into silence, leaving him feeling unheard, unseen, a broken connection that bred resentment. Now he carried the insight from the mechanic's smile. He turned to his wife, not with the weight of accusation, but with the specific, gentle key he had forged. "I feel not heard when you don't respond after I talk. Could you just confirm, even briefly, so I would feel heard?" It was not a demand. It was an instruction manual for connection. And with her immediate, heartfelt agreement, a broken loop that had drained them for months was mended. A price had been paid in vulnerability, but what he took from that moment was a renewed sense of partnership, the beginning of a shared language. He returned to the evening not as a depleted warrior, but as an architect who had shored up his foundations. The warmth of his son's laughter, the promise of an evening with friends, these were no longer just pleasant distractions. They were the very fabric of recovery. As the day closed, the synthesizer felt a change. The exhaustion was still there, a physical truth of his labors. But it was now woven with something else, the deep, resonant satisfaction of having repaired a small part of his world, not with force, but with insight. He had learned that true strength wasn't always in the grand charge forward, but sometimes in the quiet wisdom to stand still, to mend, and to connect.